Comprehensive Safety Inspection Report. So with that change, we need a motion to approve the consent agenda by Mr. Pardon me? Oh, gosh. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought those were all non-agenda speakers. I see that. Okay. Forget that. I did pull BCS1, but we do have some agenda topic speakers. So I'm going to call you two at a time. If you come up to the alternating podiums here so we can move as quickly as possible. Stacy Jaeger and Cheryl Majercik, please come to the podiums. Watch the clock. You have 3 minutes. Ma'am, go to the podium, please. There's one on the right over there. On my right. Go ahead, ma'am.
Sure. Hi, good evening. My name is Stacy Yeager, and my address is 9504 McAneny Court in Wellington, Florida. The following are examples of what some of my students had to say about my teaching this year. I love Mrs. Yeager's class. I learned a lot. She has been the only teacher that I've truly learned from. She sat down with us students and really made sure we understood the lesson. And she's not only a great math teacher, she is a great person who truly cares about her students. Another student said, Mrs. Yeager, you're the best math teacher ever. I learned so much in your class. My final evaluation for the year was highly effective in deliberate practice and effective in instructional practice. It was not my teaching that led to my non-reemployment this past year. Rather, it was the wrongdoing of an assistant principal. This is an AP who was moved from the English department to the math department. This change was made by the many teachers who were unhappy with their evaluations. At the beginning of the second semester, this AP recommended for me to take a 4-month CHAMPS course on classroom management that I completed. This AP came to do a formal observation of one of my classes before the CHAMPS course was even completed. The lesson went extremely well. My students actively engaged the entire time. I was in utter shock when I did my post-observation with this AP, and our opening line was, "It is not going to be good." I wish somebody else could have been there to witness what a great and dynamic lesson it was. This AP further said to me, "This class was very well behaved." It was extremely upsetting that instead of stating that in a positive manner, she said that in a very negative way, as if to imply it was just an act upon my students to behave that well. This AP has a background in home ec, not in math. She told me that my review of exponents should have only taken 10 minutes. She should not be making remarks like that without even having a background in math. Then she stated that the rigor of my lesson was at a 5th and 6th grade level. That statement is incorrect. I just have a way of making math concepts easy to understand. The interim principal was only there for the last 9 weeks of the school year. He went by this AP rather than by doing his own due diligence. This interim principal was only in my classroom for about 5 to 6 minutes on May 7th. This was the second to last day of school for seniors. This was a class of 35 students that consisted of predominantly all seniors. The interim principal told me that he didn't see evidence of CHAMPS being used in the 5 to 6 minutes that he was there. The CHAMPS course was just ended, and I wasn't given the opportunity to reflect upon the course and to incorporate what I learned into my classes. These courses are meant to help teachers. In this case, it appears as it was meant to fulfill an ill-willed agenda. When I met with this interim principal on June 5th,
Can I wrap it up, please?
he would not allow me to state my colleagues' negative feelings concerning the AP. He called it hearsay. However, he went by the hearsay of this AP to not reappoint me. Prior to Mr. Edgecombe leaving, he was discussing with me what classes I would be teaching next year. He also let me know the good feedback he received from parents about my teaching. If you are a good school board, don't you want to ensure that everything involving employees and students is fair and equitable?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm here tonight to talk about the separation of employees and advocate for a change in the way that teachers are not reappointed during the summer.
Your name, please.
My name is Cheryl Marsick. Thank you. When you vote not to reappoint teachers, you force Palm Beach County students to live in homes with incomes under the poverty level and now eligible for Medicaid and free lunches. Let's look at non-reappointment from a hypothetical high school student in Palm Beach County named John, whose dad was non-reappointed. John's dad was a 15-year veteran teacher in Georgia, recruited in 2017 to be a high school math teacher. He's a single parent raising 2 children completely on his own. John was going to be a freshman at his dad's school. It was a perfect fit. John's dad had highly effective observations and performance reviews initially. Unfortunately, John's dad spoke up during a faculty meeting about something that he thought could be improved. He dared question the status quo. He immediately felt a sense of dread that turns out to be a no-no in Palm Beach County. John's dad started getting unsatisfactory scores and popping evaluations 4 minutes before classes ended. There was nothing John's dad could do. Principals can put anything in evaluations with no recourse for teachers. That would be a kink in the system. The scores are included in his dad's value as a teacher. John's dad was not reappointed at the end of the year with no reason or warning from the principal. He was fired by the school district that had just recruited him. John watched his dad desperately try to get a teaching job for Palm Beach County School District, but he had the scarlet letters of non-reappointed and a former principal who didn't say anything positive about him. He got a job at a charter school, but the significant drop in pay wasn't enough to support the family. When John turned 16, he dropped out of high school so that he could get a full-time job and help support his family and put food on the table. We know what happens when you reappoint teachers, but what's the consequence of not reappointing teachers? What's the effect on the graduation rate, and what's the effect on the mental health of our students? There's a list of 129 teachers who aren't recommended for reappointment this summer. Do you know any of the names, and have you investigated why you will approve to fire them over the summer? Other districts have better systems in place for non-reappointing teachers. What can you do to be part of the solution and implement a better system? Because all of the teachers that you fire year after year, by not reappointing them, they're not bad teachers. When you go home tonight and you look in the mirror, I want you to see the family of the people, the families of the people. See their grief, see their uncertainty, see what happens to their children. I'd like to leave my last few seconds in silence to give all of you time to reflect on your opportunity to be the best school board members and change something so that good teachers aren't fired this summer because each of you chooses not to reappoint the teachers. No one else, not because of a Florida statute, it's because you choose not to reappoint them.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Don Pearson, Ronald Tremmel. Mr. Tremmel isn't here. Madeline Goldberg, would you please come to the other podium? Mr. Pearson, go ahead.
My name is Donald Pearson. I'm here to speak to you tonight about a problem that's existed in this county for far too long. The problem affects the lives of students and their families. When any individual has autonomy over another's job, well-being, or finances, it opens the door for abuse. The problem: this school board will get a list of over 120 teachers that are recommended for non-renewal. The list is voted on by you, but not scrutinized by you. When a principal decides that a teacher should not be working at their school, they simply non-reappoint them. Every recommendation is deemed accurate and true. There are no questions, no checks and balances, no accountability. These teachers are told to go to the job fair and reapply. Some get jobs, and then the jobs are rescinded with no reason given. Some teachers even have to leave the county to get a job. Here's just 3 examples. On your list that you'll get, there's a teacher non-reappointed after he refused to change a student's grade to a B that the student didn't deserve. The teacher feels that the non-reappointment was retaliation for not obeying the administration. No one has questioned anyone. On this list is a teacher who has worked at a school for 6 years and has had highly effective evaluations, including this year. A new principal comes in, and the teacher is non-reappointed. It just so happens that the teacher she replaced left to become a police officer. For some reason, she quit being an officer and came back to her original position. This could only happen if the current teacher was non-reappointed. The non-renewed teacher went to the job fair and was hired on the spot. Before she got home, she was called and the offer was rescinded. No reason given. Last example, Miss Yeager, who just talked to you. She's a Cornell graduate. She has a master's in mathematics, and her children attend the school she was teaching at. Her position could not be filled and has not been filled as of last Thursday. So, another teacher at the very same school was told that she is not going to continue as the ESC crisis intervention teacher, and at this time we need crisis intervention teachers because she has to fill the vacant math position. She has math on her certificate. However, she hasn't taught math in over 6 years. Is it possible that as bad as the principals and the APs think these non-reappointed teachers are, that they themselves are that bad at their administrative jobs? Here's a solution. Discontinue the practice of letting principals and administrators hide their non-reappointments behind the statement, "We don't have to tell you." Close the abuse loophole. Make the principals and administrators accountable for their actions when dealing with teachers, just as teachers are accountable for their actions when dealing with students. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Goldberg?
Yes, good evening. My name is Madeline Goldberg. I'm a retired special education teacher, grades 6 through 9, in the Patchogue Medford School District in New York. I love teaching, and I have 3 daughters. They know that all of them went as high as they could in education. One was just appointed as psychiatrist of the year at the Veterans Center. My other daughter, Robin, is a local dermatologist, and Stacy is a math teacher. Stacy gets complete, glowing reports from all her students, the parents, even she's a single mother of 4 children. Her oldest daughter is graduating FSU pre-med. Her son just graduated Palm Beach Central. He's was on the principal's list, and he's going into Elon University. And then she has 2 others in the district. She's an excellent mother and an excellent teacher. There is not one negative blemish on anything she does. She's very unusual in the respect that she uses real-life situations in her teaching. Like a lot of students would say, "Why math? Why do I have to know this?" Well, it's Earth Day, it's this. And she, she always does multidisciplinary teaching. And the students really love her class. She's out there every single day greeting her students. There's a teacher in the district, very, very highly regarded, Amy Watt. She's been the gifted teacher in equestrian trails for a very long time. And she has a daughter, Maddie, who is just not doing well in math. With Stacy, she says Stacy's the best math teacher she ever had. I myself went with Stacy's son to Tallahassee to help in whatever capacity we could in the Margaret Stolman Douglas campaign, whatever they were doing. And I really feel that people are talking about gun violence. I really feel teachers like Stacy are needed because the students love going to her class. They all love her. They love what she stands for. She's an excellent teacher. She could actually make the grades in Palm Beach Central rise. She knows calculus. She knows every single subject. Why this happened is just unforgivable. It really is, because the previous principal was already talking about what she's going to have for her subjects for next year. And as an educator, I just feel that Stacy is really needed. There's not one student that would ever say anything negative, and not one parent. She has glowing reports. Why? Why did this happen? I want to thank all of you for listening to me. Have a good night.
Thank you. At this time, we have to go to time certain non-agenda speakers. So we're going to